A century ago, amid the chaos of World War I, Dada exploded onto the scene, turning a humble urinal into a masterpiece and making chance the new creative king. Buckle up, because this ride through history is about to get delightfully absurd. Marcel Duchamp's fountain might be the most notorious Dada work. This ordinary porcelain urinal, signed R. Mott, challenged the art world by redefining what can be considered art. Duchamp insisted that the artist's choice alone, rather than the object's intrinsic value, makes something a work of art. By placing a mundane object on a pedestal, he forced viewers to question museum conventions. Is it the idea or the craft that truly matters? Fountain boldly answered that it's the concept driving art forward. Suspended from the ceiling at the 1921 International Dada Art Fair in Berlin, the Prussian Archangel was a life-sized soldier with a pig's head. Created by John Hartfield and Rudolf Schlichter, it lampooned Prussian militarism in a deeply satirical way. Visitors to the fair could not ignore this absurd floating figure. It was an audacious jab at authority and war propaganda. By mocking the soldiers' supposed heroism, the piece demonstrated Dada's defiance of nationalistic and bourgeois ideals, proclaiming, "Nothing is sacred, everything is open to critique." Berlin Dada took a more overtly political turn, with Hannah Höch leading the charge through photomontage. She cut and rearranged images from newspapers and magazines to create striking critiques of Weimar Germany's social and political state. Her feminist angle subverted traditional gender roles, challenging the established narrative. The collager cut with the kitchen knife through the last epoch of Weimar beer belly culture in Germany is one of the most famous. Photomontage became a powerful new technique, proving that innovation and provocation thrived under Dada's umbrella. Jean Arp explored the role of chance by randomly dropping paper squares, then gluing them where they fell. This process undermined the artist's traditional control over composition, letting randomness become the co-creator. Arp's chance collages questioned the importance of technical skill and intention in art. By relinquishing absolute authority, he introduced a refreshing spontaneity. This approach celebrated chaos, reflecting Dada's larger aim to reject rigid structures and embrace the unexpected possibilities inherent in everyday life. Sophie Taeuber-Arp's Dada head stands out as a playful yet radical reinterpretation of sculpture. Crafted from turned wood around 1920, it features geometric patterns and bold colors. By blurring lines between high art and craft, Taeuber-Arp embodied Dada's drive to question the very definition of an art object. Her collaboration with husband Jean Arp and her experimentations exemplify how Dada artists embraced chance and subversion across various media, from painting to textiles to three-dimensional forms. Now, let's zoom out to see where it all began. In 1916, neutral Switzerland served as a haven for artists seeking an escape from wartime madness. At the heart of this refuge was the Cabaret Voltaire in Zurich, founded by Hugo Ball and Emmy Hennings. This small venue quickly became a hotbed of subversive performances, combining absurdity and satire as an antidote to the horror unfolding across Europe. Provocative skits and nonsensical verses headlined nightly, signaling that the old artistic conventions no longer applied here. As the movement took shape, Dadaists embraced an ethos of disruption. They saw conventional values, cultural, social, and artistic, as bankrupt in light of the war. André Breton famously described Dada as a state of mind, emphasizing free thought and irreverence. Jean Arp, whose chance collages we've explored, insisted Dada is senseless like nature, pointing to its outright rejection of reason. Even the name Dada was ambiguous. Was it a child's babble, a hobby horse, or an emphatic yes yes in Romanian? By sidestepping neat definitions, Dada harnessed chaos as a tool for creative anarchy. From Zurich, Dada's wild energy radiated outward. Berlin artists adopted a fiercely political stance, channeling their rage at oppressive institutions into photomontages. In New York, Marcel Duchamp challenged art world norms by submitting mass-produced items like Fontaine to galleries as ready-mades. Across the Atlantic, Parisian Dadists included Man Ray and André Breton, who later shifted gears into surrealism. Despite regional differences, each branch shared a commitment to pushing boundaries and provoking strong reactions. By day, Dada thrived in studios and cafes. By night, it truly came alive at Dada soirees. These gatherings featured everything from experimental music to Tsara's newspaper and bag poems, where random words were pulled out of a hat to form verses. Hugo Ball's performances took it even further, introducing sound poetry that abandoned grammar and meaning in favor of raw vocal play. For those who expected neat rhyme schemes and polite manners, these events were a jolt to the senses, and that was precisely the point. Among all Dada hotspots, Berlin stood out for its unapologetic confrontation of power. To sum it up, it was the first international Dada art fair, with works like the Prussian Archangel. That was the real starting point for this revolutionary new movement. Hannah Hoch, Raoul Hausmann and John Hartfield made their part by making photomontage to skewer political figures and bourgeois culture. If Zurich had birthed Dada's spirit of irreverence, Berlin adopted and magnified that spirit into a sharp-edged weapon of satire. That's how Dada, in all its raucous glory, spread across Europe and beyond. It was an ever-shifting force rooted in satire, shock, and subversion. And that's your backstage pass to the raucous world of Dada. These artists refused to play by the old scripts, insisting that chaos had its own sort of order, and for them that was the truest reflection of the world they inhabited. Thank you for watching, and remember to subscribe for more art videos.